Heidi Foy with BullFrog Creatives. Thank you guys for joining us. Today we're doing something a little different. I apologize. I talked about Dodge City rodeo coach being with us today, and I totally pulled the rug out from underneath him because I feel like scholarships are real crucial. In a normal year, they're real crucial. So this year I want to make sure that people don't miss deadlines that potentially could be missed. And I know those deadlines are coming up in 2 days. So we're not giving you a lot of time, but we're giving you some time. And since everyone really is sitting at home not doing anything, now's a good time to write an essay, right? So today I have two very special guests, Miss Julie Howard, who's going to speak about a scholarship that is in her husband's name, who was the rodeo coach at the University of Wyoming. Julie, I apologize, I'm not sure how long he was there.
He was at the University of Wyoming for 22 years.
Holy buckets. So some deep roots there. And then we also have Miss Susan Kanode, who, for those of you that, oh my gosh, you've probably seen her at rodeos across the country, but more specifically, she handles the media room at the CNFR and kind of has been the liaison, the go-between for the Nothing But Try scholarship. So Susan, what year are we in now for the Nothing But Try?
So I started that in 2006 in honor of my friend Shane Drury, who got cancer, and he presented the first one in 2006, and then he passed away in October. And Corey Navarre was at the PBR finals, and he put Nothing But Try, he put a Nothing But Try sticker on his helmet. And I was like, well, that's Shane, and it was for Shane. So then it became the Nothing But Try scholarships in Shane's honor. And then in 2009, we added 3 more scholarships to the honor people who have passed, Levi Wisness and Betty Gail Cooper Ratliff. And then we have one for Lee Aiken, who suffered a traumatic brain injury and just has gone on and become an amazing human being. So they've been going for a while, and we've given about $35,000 worth of scholarships away since then.
That's amazing. So I remember the very first year we did the Nothing But Try at the college finals, and it was I mean, I feel like it's super emotional every year, no matter the recipient. But I remember being able to meet Shane and his dad, and now his brother, I believe, and
Yes.
Now his dad and brother come every year to award the scholarship. So it really is amazing. So ladies, I think so we don't get too discombobbled, I want to speak with each of you a little bit about the scholarship, and then maybe what you guys are looking for in the application. We want to reiterate the deadline, of course, and then I would like a little bit of background around each of them about kind of why the scholarship and, kind of what the idea behind creating the scholarship was. So let's start with Susan, and I'll break it up because I feel like because there are so many that you have the knowledge about, let's break it up a little bit and then give you kind of a breather, and then we'll come back to you to finish it up. So why don't you, Susan, talk to us about, let's start with Shane Drury, Nothing But Try, since he was kind of the original scholarship. Give us some background, and then also talk about what you guys are looking for in the application.
Okay, so if we look at the total of 4 scholarships, the premise behind it and the application process is the same for each scholarship. You don't apply for anything different. You just apply for the Nothing But Try scholarship. We use a point system to evaluate them, and then we allocate the money for the scholarships to the individuals. And throughout his journey, and his Shane had always he like write motivational posts, and that was before Facebook and all that. And so he had a page, and he kind of write posts every day, and he'd say, "Don't forget to smile," or "Remember Jesus loves you." And he never said, "Why me?" It was more like, "Why not me?" and "What can we do to move forward?" And he came back from cancer on 2 different occasions, and he rode bulls, and he judged rodeo, and he did a lot of things in his life. And then Betty Gail Cooper Ratliff is the most winning coach in rodeo history, in college rodeo history. And The scholarships are awarded to people who have faced adversity in their life and refused to bow to their circumstances. And that's what Shane did. And then Levi Wisness, who's a former college rodeo steer wrestling champion and was on the board of directors, a student director. And then Lee Aiken, who's a two-time college rodeo champion. And we decided, after Shane passed, someone asked me if I was going to turn it into a memorial scholarship, and I said no, because this is about how these people lived or live their lives. And that's what it boils down to. And when we get essays from people who don't bow down to their circumstances and use their adversity to grow as a person and just shape their world, that's what we look for.
That's awesome. So I know we have a lot of a lot of parents. I'm not 100% certain of the amount of students that we have watching, but is this primarily for kids that are already college rodeoing, or could it be for upcoming freshmen? I mean, how has that worked?
No, they have to be a member of the NIRA in good standing. So that means, yes, you have to have your GPA just like you were qualifying for the college finals, and you have to be a member of the NIRA. And that's our biggest eligibility qualification standard, is you have to be a current member. You can't be planning to join or do maybe even rodeoing at jackpot or going to jackpots or whatever and be a rodeo kid. You have to be a member of the NIRA. So that's
Okay, so
stipulation.
perfect. That's perfect. So do you have any length requirements, or just tell us your story however you tell it?
So I have a journalism degree, and I had an awesome journalism professor who told me a story is as long as a story needs to be. So we're not going to make a kid write a 3,000 word essay when it only needs to be 750. And by the same token, if their story starts earlier and lasts longer and they need to use 3,000 words, or they want 4 letters of recommendation, whatever, we want the story to be what the story is, and then we kind of filter it out from there. But we also do expect kids to put work into their application. So, and you can tell when you review an application, even if it's a 1-page essay that a kid wrote, you can tell the ones that work at it and the ones that didn't.
Yeah, and I would say, just from my personal experience, I've not really had the opportunity to read any of the applications for Nothing But Try, but I have read some of the other applications for NIRA and Rawhide scholarships, and it's competitive. I mean, it's not just it really is competitive on all levels. And so, just like you said, put some work into it and put your best foot forward.
Right. And I would say also, we get a lot of kids who are like, man, I've had such bad luck in my life and I've done this, and whoever that kid, things must really be bad for them. But it's not necessarily based on the severity of an adversity. It's based on how a person uses that as a learning experience and grows from it.
Yeah.
So if we get a laundry list of all the bad luck that you've had, you probably aren't going to get a scholarship. But if you do a scholarship or an application that talks about your experiences and what you've learned from those experiences, you stand a lot better chance.
Perfect. So we don't have any questions so far, but we do have a pretty good audience tuning in. So that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and ask Julie some questions. Julie, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about your scholarship?
Well, when George passed away, we had a lot of people donate money for the Memorial Scholarship, and we knew from the beginning that what we wanted was to provide a scholarship for a person who was in good standing with the NIRA, and we just have them fill out a little application, and ours is limited to 2 pages, and so they do have to write a little bit, but there's a lot of scholarships out there for freshmen coming into college, and so there's not a lot of scholarships for kids who are really putting forth the effort of achieving that bachelor's degree after 4 years. And so we, our scholarship is available for juniors or seniors in college. They have to be in good standing with the NIRA. We want to know what their career goals are. And, you know, George was always an advocate for education comes first. And, you know, if kids are successful in the classroom, they have that dedication, and it also shows up in the rodeo arena. And he was really adamant about his kids not just coming to school and rodeoing, but getting a degree that will help them later in life. Because realistically, not many of us can just depend on rodeo for the rest of our lives to make a living at, and it becomes a hobby for a lot of people. So he wanted, you know, like if you get hurt or whatever, he wanted that kids to have a degree to fall back on and to support their rodeo habit. So we're looking for someone who has a career in mind. They know what they want, that they are a role model for their peers, and has demonstrated success in the classroom and in the rodeo arena. But you don't have to be qualified for the CNFR to apply for this scholarship. It can be anybody, but we do want to see that you're dedicated to getting that education, and you must be attending a 4-year university.
Okay, awesome. So what is the deadline, Julie, for kids to get those applications in? And where can we find that application?
Okay, if you go to collegerodeo.com, I think it's .com,
Yep.
and it's under downloads, and you can get, and I think it's the first set of things to choose from. The deadline is May 20th, so you have 20 days, and we've talked about it. You can also email that in, and they're gonna, since we have COVID this year and we're not going to be mailing a lot of applications back and forth, I think it just would be easier for the ladies in the national office to email me that application. So if you email it into the national office, they will forward it on to the committee who makes a decision.
Perfect. So the deadline actually for the other 2 scholarships that we'll talk about is also the 20th. Susan, what is the deadline for yours?
It's the same. It's the same.
All of them are the same.
Try to coordinate that so that people don't have to keep track of separate deadlines.
Yes.
Perfect. So like I mentioned this earlier, we're not giving you a whole lot more time. If you've not gotten it in, you have 2 days to get it in, but at least you've got a little bit of notice. So I want to talk quickly. I have to pull the information up on my computer because I want to make sure that I don't get it wrong. The National Intercollegiate Rodeo Foundation also has scholarships that they're going to be awarding. It looks like the one for the foundation is in the amount of $1,500. You do have to have an official transcript, and that may have changed. I didn't have any word from the office, but it may have changed due to the COVID. But for now, the official transcript needs to be turned in, and statements from the financial aid officer to show need as determined by the state or credible evidence supported by documentation. You have to have letters to prove that you are in good standing and references that you deem appropriate. It looks like there is also an essay that will address the future of rodeo, the rodeo athlete as a role model, and how you plan to stay involved as a role model to progress the future of rodeo as a sport. So again, deadline is May 20th. And then the other, let's see, the other scholarship is the Rawhide Scholarship, and that is the Rodeo Athletes on Wellness. So this also is a deadline of May 20th. Must be an active participating member in good standing of the NIRA. You must be academically eligible, and you must demonstrate the Rawhide principles with regard to positive choices, commitment to personal fitness, a balance of rodeo and other responsibilities, and academic and career goals. So also to be able to show civic or community engagement, community service, and evidence of peer leadership. So dedication to achieving a personal best in the rodeo event. So what's super interesting about having these scholarship conversations is it's not really something, I guess in advance of awarding the scholarships, it's not really something that gets a lot of publicity. So students kind of go through the year. Coaches tell their students that there's these scholarship opportunities available. Sometimes the messages sometimes the students receive that message and sometimes they don't. Unfortunately, I didn't know about the scholarships until after I graduated and started helping with the CNFR. And so I think it's a really good opportunity for students that are, that are going to be continuing their rodeo career past this. And especially, Julie, your specific scholarship for juniors and seniors, if you're pursuing a master's degree or a little bit higher than bachelor's, then perhaps that would be a good one for you also. Susan, I know I had another coach reach out to me about the fundraiser that's going on for those specific scholarships this weekend. So I think lots of people would be excited to know that there's going to be a steer wrestling and breakaway jackpot somewhere, anywhere at this point.
For sure.
And it's going to raise money.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how excited I am to go.
Yes, anywhere. My daughter wants to go to town so bad, she doesn't even care if we only go to Walmart. I get it.
Yeah.
So can you talk, I know this is kind of off the cuff, but can you give us information about that fundraiser this weekend?
Absolutely. So it's the Nothing But Try Scholarships fundraiser, steer wrestling, breakaway roping, as Heidi said. We're going to have a Calcutta with the steer wrestlers and the finals of the breakaway roper, where 50% goes to the scholarship and 50% goes back to the pot. We also are having our second annual cornhole tournament, which last year we raised about $600 with the cornhole tournament, which was very exciting and just fun. And I think people are looking forward to it even more this year because nobody's been anywhere and nobody can go anywhere, and social distancing is an issue. And that's the beauty of jackpots, is you can social distance. And if you don't want it social distance, it's not necessarily that you have to. But we have flyers and we have pictures of some awards and stuff on our Facebook page. It's Nothing But Try Scholarships. So jump over there and like that, and you'll get more information.
Yes. So thanks for the reminder. I'll actually add those links. Once we finish the live, I'll add those links in the comments so everybody can kind of click to them and know where to go. So I do have a question from Carrie Bowman. I'm going to make some assumptions here, but she says, what about trade schools or a community college that have a rodeo team? So I assume that, Carrie, you're talking about eligibility, like you must be a member of the NIRA and in current good standing with your college or university. If that is different, I would assume, Julie and Susan, that it would pertain to both of those, the scholarship.
Well, for us, it definitely does. If someone's in a trade school and working towards their education and it's a priority to them, we still recognize that as an eligible person for our scholarships. And I really respect what Julie has done with George's in getting people to graduate with their bachelor's degree, but we also recognize that a bachelor's degree is not it for everybody. So there's some opportunities across the board by the variety of scholarships.
Right, and ours is specific to a four-year university and making sure they're a junior or senior.
Okay,
so,
perfect.
But I appreciate saying that, Susan, that we do have a variety of scholarships available.
Carrie, thank you so much. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, please just comment and maybe try to clarify a little bit. So I kind of figured that this was going to be a little bit shorter broadcast, which is definitely probably okay, but hopefully we got enough information out. Is there anything that you guys want to add specific to your scholarships? Or I don't know, it's been a while since you've seen people. Is there anything you want to chat about?
Yeah, really.
We started last summer. My niece and her husband, Michelle and Dustin Park, started a team roping to raise money for the scholarship. And because of the COVID-19, we weren't really sure what things would look like this summer. And so we had planned on doing a team roping in July, but we are going to postpone that and just come back next summer stronger than ever. So, yeah. And we just want to thank people for all their support in raising that money. And one of the things we did at ours was we had a dummy roping, and that was a huge success. The kids loved it.
How about you, Susan?
Well, I just would encourage everyone to check out our page, look through the scholarships. we'll be posting stories of the recipients later, and I think that that's probably been the most worthwhile thing about this whole Nothing But Try program, is being able to share the stories of the recipients and seeing what they've gone on and done in their lives. Because our very first winner of the scholarships got her doctorate degree and is now an equine nutritionist. And
Oh my
so,
gosh.
yeah, being able to see what people accomplish and what they're doing with their lives is so worthwhile for us. And we do it to remember these people and how they lived, but we want to keep it going so we can keep the stories going.
So I believe there is a tie, actually. Levi Wisness went to college at the University of Wyoming, didn't he? That's what I
And
thought.
there's a lot of ties to the Nothing But Try scholarship, and it's near and dear to our hearts. George was the coach at Southwestern Oklahoma State University. And so Corey Navarre and Lee Aiken were at the university. And then Shane Drury came just shortly after we came to the University of Wyoming. And then Levi Wisness, George coached him at the University of Wyoming.
Holy
So,
cats.
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know all that.
Well, and Julie, wasn't George coaching against Betty Gale at some point in that career?
Yes, I should have said that too. They were both in the same region, and I had cancer a long time ago, in 97, I believe, 92 maybe. And I remember Betty Gale calling me and really giving me encouragement for the cancer that I was going through. So yeah, there's a lot of ties to the Shane Drury, or the Nothing But Try scholarship. So
If
That just made me goosebumps.
yeah, definitely. What's
Yeah.
super interesting, and I mean, I knew it before starting these profiles, but when you can get, and Susan, this will kind of be your language too, when you can get reach 20,000 people organically on Facebook without paying for it, that kind of tells you that this is a little bit different industry per se than a lot of other areas that I have worked in. I think that the rodeo industry as a whole, it's much more than just the industry. It's more of a family. And when we need to get information out, we can get it out pretty quickly and to a lot of people in a very short amount of time. So it's been a really great experience for me on that side too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I will remind everybody that if you have any questions about any of these scholarships or any other scholarships, I know I buzzed through some of the NIRA Foundation ones pretty quickly. So again, all of the applications can be found on collegerodeo.com under the download section. And if you have any concerns, I'm going to make sure that it's okay, but I'm going to also put them up on the BullFrog Creatives page so y'all can download them there. And then we'll put some more links up as soon as we get wrapped up. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And actually, we'll have the coach from the University of Wyoming on Wednesday. We've got a couple more weeks booked out. It seems like every time we do one, another coach reaches out. So I'll keep doing the profiles as long as I keep getting the interest. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And for those of you that are watching live, thank you for the questions. For those of you that are rewatching, post your questions and we will do our best to get them answered. Thank you, Susan, so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Julie.
thank you.
I
Really
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice to see you all.
I know. That's what we've been saying. I told my husband, like, what are we going to do in June now? Like, we can take a different vacation, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's going to be weird, but we might have to have a big Zoom party or something the normal week of the finals.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. And thank you for tuning in. You guys have a great day and we'll see you Wednesday.